nerds. You apparently want to talk about gaming and tech, which I do too. That's why you're here, right? That's this episode. So what this is it is the gaming and tech section, which was taken from the much longer episode known as the Week in Nerddom from the main channel at Generally Nerdy, or you can go check it out over on Rumble as well. But since you're here, let's, without any further ado, get into the gaming and tech news. Now let's get into the gaming and tech side of things, shall we? First up, we do have a follow-up where we're talking about Elden Ring. Elden Ring just, FromSoft, I guess, specifically, just announced that Elden Ring is getting an expansion. Not just DLC. This is not just downloadable content. This is like a legit expansion to the game. We're talking about a few more hours and hours of gameplay, and just the world is going to be getting significantly larger. The name of this expansion is, where did it go? A Shadow of the Erd Tree. I have yet to play Elden Ring, so I don't know the significance of the Erd Tree, but there you go. That's really all we know. There's not a whole lot as far as they haven't released the release date for this just yet, but when they do, we will talk about it. That's what we got for follow-ups. Let's move into trailers because we did get 2 of those. One of them more gameplay than trailer, but still. First one is Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. This game actually has just come out. There is a release trailer is what we're talking about, linked down in the description. Nintendo is in the remake game these days, and this is the most recent one. This game actually released on the Wii, but there's some extra stuff added here. You got a couple extra hours worth of material, as well as a prelude that is called, or epilogue rather, that is called I'm not going to say this character's name right, and I'm sorry. Magolor Epilogue, the Interdimensional Traveler. So they're adding a whole new character, as well as a little bit of story attached to that character, and I'm digging it. Kirby's great fun. This is 2.5D. Some of the best Kirby gameplay that you're ever going to play is 2D Kirby, though the new 3D Kirby I've heard good things about. I have yet to play it though. So yeah, just significant. Go watch the trailer. Let's move to the next one, and that is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This game is still scheduled to come out May 26th. This is some gameplay action. It's not, again, not technically a trailer, but we did get gameplay footage. This is highlighting the crazy team-up mechanics in the game. This looks so freaking solid. This is the proper heir to the throne of the Arkham Asylum series, not the Gotham Knights game. That looks great, but I, again, haven't played it yet because I have not heard good things about gameplay as associated to the Gotham Knights. So there is that. That's what we have for trailers. Let's talk about regular-ass news. We got a fair bit of that in gaming and tech, so we're going to try and push through as much as possible. So we have Microsoft news to talk about that has nothing to do with Activision Blizzard. Well, at least not on the surface. So, Microsoft has struck a new deal with NVidia that is going to take all of the games on the, the name of the damn service is escaping me, Game Pass, there we go. All of the games on Game Pass are going to be available on NVIDIA's proprietary, NVIDIA Go, GeForce Now, that's what it was, GeForce Now service, which is basically just Game Pass that NVIDIA does. So this is pretty huge because part of the reason they did this was to garner the favor of somebody like NVIDIA. And the more people in their industry that they can get favor of that are supportive of the Activision Blizzard merger, purchase, takeover, whatever you want to call it, the more people they can get in their corner, the better. So at this point, they have a whole lot of people in there. I would say there's more people industry-wise anyway, not necessarily regulator-wise, but industry-wise, there are more companies in their corner than not in their corner at this point. Basically, it's just Sony and a couple of third-party developers that don't have a whole lot of sway when it comes to stuff like this. NVIDIA, though, huge. And the fact that they're willing to take their properties, all of the things on Game Pass, and license them out to another platform is pretty significant. I don't know why anyone would necessarily, I mean, unless you're opposed to having multiple platforms, because the Steam and Xbox Game Pass and NVIDIA Go, or NVIDIA GeForce Now rather, if you don't want to have all of these free things on your computer, then I guess it makes sense to try and consolidate, but I don't understand the necessity out of that from a practical standpoint. Either way, significant in that this is probably going to help push the Activision thing through just a little bit easier. Next, we are talking about IO Interactive, the studio behind Hitman, the Hitman game franchise, as well as other things. Not the least of which, the upcoming 007 game that still we only know as Project 007, but is happening. They now just announced that they are going to be developing, alongside that 007 game, a fantasy game. That's really all we got. We got one piece of concept art, but that's really it. This is IO Interactive is getting a little IO Interactive is getting a little lofty with their goals, but I don't know. It could pay off. It could be great. Let's just hope for the best, right? Next is the biggest one for me, anyway, because this happened last week. Actually, I think this might have happened a little over a week ago, but I don't know, it felt like a rumor to me at first. It felt like something that shouldn't be happening, and all of a sudden it happened so fast. We have officially, Mortal Kombat 12 has been announced. This happened kind of by accident because David Zaslav was doing the earnings report with all of the stockholders in the Warner Brothers Discovery Company, and part of that report was Zaslav saying that we are going to see Mortal Kombat 12 by the end of this year. Now, there have been a number of other YouTubers speculating as to when the official announcement and trailer and so on and so forth. All of these things are going to happen before the launch of the game. Previously, I speculated that we would see the announcement happen by the end of the year, but I was very doubtful that we would see the actual game. Though, if we consider the fact that it is very likely been in development for approximately 4 years, since that's when Mortal Kombat 11 came out, then it makes sense that it could come out this year. So everyone seems to be in agreement that the likely release time frame for Mortal Kombat 12 is the end of the year, very timely release for the holiday season. So probably sometime in November, maybe at the earliest late October. But that's a little bit of a stretch, even for speculation territory. The proper announcement from NetherRealm Studios, though, many are speculating it's going to be at E3, though there is a noteworthy divergence from that theory, and that seems to be coming from True Underdog. I think was the only one who I think has put it into reasonable terms, though I think he's very much underestimating what E3 is going to be this year. He seems to think it's going to happen sometime in April or March, because those are the only 2 months this year leading up to the holiday season that we don't have any significant tournaments or anything dealing with Mortal Kombat directly already. So sometime in April or March is what True Underdog is considering. I think that's probably fairly accurate. I think at E3 we will see, before E3 we will see an announcement. We will get some sort of trailer, and that's probably about it. At E3 we will get some character announcements, and then from there is where Combat Cast is going to pick back up, and we're going to see the likes of I can't remember all of their names. Josh, Stephanie, and the other guy. The developers, the social media types, and the people who do the Combat Cast for NetherRealm Studios. So super excited about that. That is one line of notes in this, and we just went on for like 10 minutes about it. So I apologize, but that's what we got there. Let's move right on to our last piece for this section, and that is a new show called Tabletop News. So I'm going to read this because it comes directly from the press release, and I'm just really intrigued by it. So I want to get the information to you as properly as possible. So Two Kings Entertainment is launching a weekly online news show called Tabletop News, covering the world of tabletop RPGs, card games, and board games. The show will include actual play streams, competitive tournaments, and general shows. It will be hosted by a rotating cast including Becca Scott, Carlos Luna, Michelle Nguyen Nguyen Bradley, Xander Jeanneret, Katie Wilson, Surena Marie, and Nathan Ondracek. I don't know who those people are, but I'm sure that means something to the tabletop community. All of that being said, the show is described as, and this is the reason why I think it's cool, because I really want to do something like this myself, is described as SportsCenter meets tabletop. So this is the big reason why I put this in here for today is kind of a conversation starter, because I rather have briefly mentioned a number of times how I think that the competitive gaming world is getting things a little bit wrong in that each game that has a competition based around it is insular. It is only that one game. So right now, Halo and Apex and Splitgate all have their own leagues, right? So they're all effectively the same. Well, I don't know. The argument could be made that Apex is different because it's a battle royale first-person shooter, but still first-person shooter, so it kind of still fits. The thing that we've talked about previously is the way I think. Let's go back just a step. Competitive gaming does not make money. That is the issue here. So when we compare the gaming sphere to traditional sports and media sphere, its traditional sports and media is very, very lucrative. That's why, the XFL exists, because The Rock wants to get in on that. So when you take that model and apply it to gaming, it should theoretically equal also a lucrative outcome, because there are many, many more fans of gaming, I feel, in my personal purview anyway, than there are of sporting events. So the thing that I think isn't being translated properly is the manner in which you are presenting your sport or your game in this sport. So you have, and this analogy is going to go a little bit wonky because, again, the XFL does exist now, but you have many teams that play football in the NFL. Football is the presentation. Football is the thing that you want to watch, and then the teams around it play the thing. The translation here should not be football equals Halo. The translation, I think, in order to make this a lucrative business idea, is football equals FPS. Football equals fighting game. And the fighting game community actually kind of is doing this, because some of the larger tournaments are multi-game tournaments. So you have Evo is doing Street Fighter and Tekken. We talked about it previously. I even did a short about it on the other channel. But yeah, so it's similar, but it's not the same. I feel like what it should be is you have a team of players. You have this group of 4 dudes plays round 1, and round 1 is Halo. And there's a lottery as to which version of Halo they're playing. So it creates a little bit of chaos almost that's enjoyable for the fans to watch, because that player there, he's really good at Halo Combat Evolved, but he sucks at Halo Infinite, we'll say. Or this guy here really excels at Halo 3 and kind of works well in Infinite, but man, if they roll Halo 5 for this round, he's screwed. Something along those lines. And then you have another group of 4 players that is on the same team as this previous group that plays round 2. And in round 2, you're playing Splitgate, or you're playing, I think the hyper focus on one game is where the money is falling apart. So something like this tabletop news, obviously they wouldn't cover FPS games, but if there was something like this for just e-gaming in general, then you could cover a team and cover in an individual player, and their stats would be based on per game. His average kill death spread on Halo Infinite is 3.2, and his average kill death spread in Splitgate is 2.1. So that makes it a little bit more interesting. And I'm rambling, and that's what we got. But I want to pass this off to you guys. So do you watch esports? Do you watch any of the HCS, the Halo Championship Series? Do you watch any of the Apex Legends tournaments? Do you watch any of that stuff? Competitive Minecraft exists as well. I don't know what you would lump Minecraft in with. And then second is, do you find that there is plenty of potential growth in the esports viewing side of things, or is it just kind of doomed to fail inherently? Let's talk about that one, shall we? That is all of the regular ass news. So let's talk about gaming and tech suggestions. This time we're going with a game, and it's a classic, man. Batman Arkham Asylum. With the impending release of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the proper spiritual successor to Arkham Asylum, the Arkham Asylum series, I guess I should say, it's good to go back to your roots and see where it all started, because yeah, that game, even the sequels are good, but nothing quite so game-changing as the original. So go check out Batman Arkham Asylum this week. That is your homework. Once again, nerds, that was a short section that comes from a longer video on the main channel, Generally Nerdy, YouTube or Rumble. Take your pick. I'm on both. You can go find it there. You can go find all of the other news there as well, including the live episode. We do a live episode roughly once a week, every Friday evening. You can join the conversation live, or you can just leave comments here on this one or any of the other ones you find on the Clips channel. Thank you very much, nerds. We've got other news to discuss in other videos, but while we're getting out of here, don't forget that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.